The ladies are back with A Bad Mom's Christmas. To get the lowdown on Bad Moms, that was a movie about a bunch of moms striving to be perfect mothers, but they started questioning what perfect meant. It's what society deems perfect for them, and they didn't like that. They wanted to be bad moms in the face of society. But the problem that I had with the first movie was that they weren't bad moms per se. They were just bad citizens, as they kept on doing bad things that didn't pertain to their role as parents. They just did bad things. They were bad citizens in general. That was the main thing I had with it. I didn't mind the concept, hey, there's something wrong with the system when they're saying this is what good parenting is and it's the only way. There is something there, but the movie never goes there, ever. So I wanted A Bad Mom's Christmas to kind of take that step forward. In this movie, it's their mothers that show up for whatever reason. When it came down to the mothers and how they acted with their kids, those were the actual bad mothers. Alright, people category. When it comes down to the acting, it's pretty much like the first movie was. You're not going to really get much out of it. It's a comedy, and as such, it doesn't really demand too much from the actresses to really put on any kind of great performance, so 1 out of 2. This movie franchise is trying really hard to create characters that are memorable. Instead, I think you're going to be more focused on the things that they do than who they are as a character. I don't think the characters themselves are diverse enough to be memorable, so I'm going to say 1 out of 2. As far as casting is considered, I can't really complain. I do like everybody who's in the movie, and I think everybody did a really good job in terms of what they were trying to go for. So I'm going to say with casting, 2 out of 2. As far as everybody's importance to the plot goes, first of all, I don't really consider there to be much of a plot in the first place. So there's that, but there's also the fact that all of the daughters and all of the mothers, they all kind of have the same basic role, and they're not really doing much to the plot, so I'm only give that 1 out of 2. For the most part, they did a good job making the parents have good chemistry with their children. 2 out of 2. Writing score. As a comedy, a lot of it hinges on the writing specifically and the dialogue specifically. I can't say that I didn't laugh in the movie because of some of the things that are said. I will give dialogue 2 out of 2. I really don't think there's much balance in the movie. There's so many characters now. They doubled the characters. There's way too much going on. For balance, I'm only going to give it 0. The story itself was okay. I think it was stronger in the first movie. Story, I'll only give 1 out of 2. Can't say there's anything really original about the movie. I mean, it's a R-rated comedy that feels like an R-rated comedy, feels like a carbon copy of the first movie. It feels like it should have been a TV special rather than a sequel, because it doesn't even feel like a sequel. It feels like a spin-off because it's a Christmas special. 0. Interesting, yes and no. I was interested to see it because I did want to see more from these characters. I wanted to see more depth when it came down to who they are as people. It's an R-rated comedy, and they're never going to have depth. They're just going to have stupid humor and blah, blah, blah. There was interest there, but for the most part, that's all it did. So, 1 out of 2. BTS. Behind the scenes. R-rated comedies don't really have too much strength when it comes down to what's going on behind the scenes because they don't really care that much. Visuals, everything that you would possibly expect out of an R-rated comedy happens. 1 out of 2. Directing, nothing specifically seems like a challenge or unique or anything like that. Directing gets 1. Editing was pretty normal thing that I could probably do. Editing gets 1 out of 2. I would say that it is as advertised. It's exactly as you would expect it to be, so no false advertising. 2 out of 2. As far as music goes, I didn't really hear too much that caught my attention other than like Christmas music, which is pretty typical for any Christmas movie. 1 out of 2. Narrative arc. The introduction gets you reacquainted with who these ladies are, as well as introduce the moms in the pictures. 2 out of 2. Inciting incident is ultimately when the mothers show up at the doorsteps of all their daughters, coincidentally. 2 out of 2. The obstacles really has to do with each and every individual character. 2 out of 2 for that. Climax really comes down to the culmination of how all their stresses that they endure. For that, falling action is, I would say that it calms down, but it doesn't really come down to a new norm or anything like that. Falling Action gets 1 out of 2. Entertainment score. I will skip right down to fun, because this is a comedy. You do expect it to be somewhat fun to watch as an experience, and you would be right. There are certain parts in the movie that you'll laugh out loud with. I can't say that all the jokes work very well in this, because a lot of them don't, but some do. And because of that, I'll only give it half points and say 1 out of 2. Everything else in this category gets 0. Especially score. Alright, this is listed as an adventure comedy for some reason on IMDb. So let's take a look at those genres. As far as adventure is concerned, I'm not entirely sure where they get that. I saw this as mostly a directionless, aimless movie that just followed these characters around. They had no goals to get anywhere, they had no plans to get anywhere, so when I think of adventure, this movie does not pop up. I'm gonna give that 0 out of 10. When it comes down to comedy, like I said, there are certain things that will make you laugh out loud. There are also other things that fall flat and aren't funny at all. That's a yes and no answer. 5 out of 10. As a Christmas movie, I can't really say it's not. It is a Christmas movie. There is a clear Christmas theme. There's Christmas music. I don't know. I'll just go ahead and give that full points and say 10 out of 10. Does it feel like it fits into the franchise? Yes. And you're lucky that I didn't add sequel into the specialty categories, because if it was a sequel, I'd have to say no, because it doesn't actually feel like a sequel. However, it does feel like it fits in with the franchise, primarily because of the characters. 10 out of 10 for that. And is this halfway decent? My personal opinion is no, and so is probably everybody that actually watched it is thinking, is it halfway decent? Probably not, because it's not all that great. However, I believe that the filmmakers made the movie that they intended to make. So I gotta give credit where credit is due. 10 out of 10. If we add all those up together, we get 62 out of 100 possible stars. 62, which is mostly a rating, which is fine. Do I recommend you watch it? You'll live if you don't see it. Guys, tell me what you thought of A Bad Mom's Christmas in the comments down below, and you can follow me on Twitter and track.tv at username IAMDWG. And as for YouTube, you can always subscribe to me, hit that like button, and hit that bell to be notified when I come out with my next movie review, which of course will be tomorrow. And until then, peace out and have a good day.